Yeah, why?
So Satya can only start from his PC, so she's helping us.
Yeah, I think. But she can't hear me.
I can hear her too. When
Yeah,
she
I
was
know.
speaking, I was
Yeah,
able
I
to
don't
hear.
know why she was not able to hear. Maybe her mic she has not started or something. She's on mute. Mhm. Okay, live streaming. I think we are live, right? Can you check really quickly if we are live?
Let me check on the YouTube.
Okay. So waiting for
Yeah, like
okay. We are live. So yes, finally confirmation. So we're waiting for Wormsley, but I think we can get started. We have quite a few games to cover. So let's get started with the first game. I will share my screen, Satish, and we'll both kind of take turns.
sure. I think we had the group divided. If KK join, it will be easy. But meanwhile, if KK is not joining, we can pick up.
Yep. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The first game is the game that created a lot of buzz. Gujarat Lions. We'll go in the reverse order of how it's listed. Gujarat Lions versus SSK. There was a lot of buzz around this, a lot of issues which came along. Committee had to deal with a lot of issues, but the game kind of didn't live up to the expectation. I see here, Gujarat Lions winning comfortably by 54 runs, and I think at one point of time, I would say, if you look at the SSK scorecard, I think Kalyan was really giving Gujarat Lions a very big scare until they were, I think, 52 for two or something, 51 for two, and then eventually they collapsed to 62. Uh, so it was quite a early finish. What promised to be a tough, a game that could have gone to the wire. But eventually, I think Gujarat Lions won it very comfortably. Satish Bhai, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think if you look closely in this game, I think as you mentioned, right, a lot of buzz about this game, and I was actually looking forward for this particular game. How Lions will be dealing with the SSK. So when Gujarat Lions won the toss and elected to bat first, I think Malik, Tarun, and Ronak they gave the start that they wanted, and then Shivam, I think he has been newly added to this roster for the Lions, and he also added those 24 run, and then Dhonit coming at the down and scoring 12 run. They got the score that they wanted, 160 runs. I would say at very good totals, for the Lions to for against SSK team. But when the SSK started, when we talk about the bowling, right, Kalyan picked up the 2 wicket, the 14 run, and then Manjunath also picked up the 2 wickets. Kishore also picked up the 2 wickets, with on average 4 to 5 runs per over. So that is where they got 100 out run. When the batting, as you mentioned, right, when SSK started, SSK complete batting and even I would say partially bowling is also dependent on Kalyan, how Kalyan does it. Okay, he's lone warrior in SSK roster. So
Right.
if Kalyan itself scored 33 runs and when he got out, it was like 53 odd runs in 13 over. And from there, they just managed to get another 10 runs, and 7 wickets. And this is not the story of this specific game. This is a story about the SSK in almost most of their game where they are playing against a good opponent.
Right.
And
Yeah.
another thing I want to highlight, there was a point, if you see, right, that 13 over
Hmm.
53 run, there was a point where our magician Ronnie Patel has bowled one over. I think it was his off day where he
Right.
bowled a couple of no, I think 3 4 no balls, and all the free hit, and he got into Kalyan stuck. He Kalyan played that over, and all the free hits, Kalyan utilized and was keep on hitting the boundaries. I think 2 3 boundaries in that over with the 3 4 no balls. I think in if I'm not, I was watching that over live.
There
So
were four no balls, I think, delivered by Ronnie, which is
yeah, so on that specific over, he gave around 22 runs. And actually, I saw that the whole Titans got tense because the Kalyan was clearing properly, and it was 3 wicket, 50 odd runs with help of that specific over. So a little bit at that specific point, I see the Titans were a little bit tensed. But
you
as
mean
soon
the
as they
Lions.
got Kalyan out, the game was done for them. I think after that,
Detroit Titans.
Lions wrapped up
No, no, Lions. You mean
SSK
Lions.
quickly.
No,
Sorry.
I thought. Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. KK is also here. So KK, if you wanna add something to it.
I mean, what Parthiv was mentioning, right? First of all, hello to all the listeners and viewers. So, what Parthiv was mentioning about all the backdrop to this game, I think Lingappan's ask was more about treating all the teams equally and giving them their option to play on that day. He got what he wanted. Malik got what he wanted. They both played on Sunday. The game did not live up to the expectation, but at the same time, if we go back to our analysis or our selections, right, our predictions, we all predicted Gujarat Lions to win this, and that's what
Yep.
happened with 5 points. So it's not an upset. It's not something off the books. It's what we expected because last year or the years before when SSK was performing well, yes, we all backed SSK, but this year they're not having the same kind of performances. The previous week they lost back-to-back games, Saturday and Sunday, rescheduled one and the regular one, and then this week they lost again. So it's some tough time for SSK, but at the same time, the players like Kalyan, they might inspire one or two players in SSK to give better performances in the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think I was saying there was much hype about this game. It wasn't because they were equal strength team, but because of the backdrop of everything that went back and forth, all the issues that were going forward. But you're right. It was a mismatch to start with. Gujarat Lions were heavy favorites to go based on the performance this year and SSK's performance this year. I think the advice to Lingappan would be, focus on playing cricket, put less focus on trying to, take out issues, and just focus on trying to perform on the field rather than off the field. That would be, a one-line message to bring SSK back to the winning ways and compete in DCL with some of the top teams. So, yeah, one-sided performance. Let's go on to the next game of the week. The next game was Hitman versus Local Boys. This was another thriller. I would say, this was something which we had, quite uh, diverse opinions. Some people had picked Hitman, some people had picked Local Boys based on their performance this year as well. And the game actually lived up to its expectation. I'll go with Vamsi to get started with this. Vamsi, what did you take about this game?
Well, this was the showcase game of the week last week, and
Yep.
I believe it did live up to the expectation for the first 42 overs of the game. The last 8 overs, local boys could not keep up with the pace, but if not, look at that scores. Hitman scoring 137 in 25 overs, uh, five batsmen getting into double digits, they got 15 extras. The top two bowlers of local boys taken apart, 3 overs 26, 5 overs 42, Satya and Sandal. But when local boys started, they started very well. Srinivas and Illumalai, I only hope he had stayed for two more overs, right? Because 3 overs, you're 32 for one. You're chasing what, 100 in the rest 22 overs. That was the impact of that innings. But then, after two more wickets fell very quickly from 3 for 38, that partnership of 47 runs in the next 11 overs, right, between Sendil and Satya would have given that perfect platform because you were looking at 8 more overs and 50 runs to win.
Right.
You can't expect more from a showcase game of the week. But
Right.
I think the lack of experience in the lower middle order and the tail actually got exposed here because you see Sheikh Mohammed and Abdul Jaffer got out for one each. Naren Venkatesan, he was on the show last week. He didn't have a great game. The first ball out, first ball duck. We'll come to the first golden ducks, a bit later. I have a lot to add there, but yes, it was a good game for Hitman. Won by 24 runs, secured, I believe, the bonus point as well. So congrats, Hitman. I think it's going to be one instrumental win in their journey this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think Hitman and local boys have a very good outside chance to get into the playoffs. Pool B is still very much up in the air with upsets being caused in the first few weeks. I
Mhm.
think the
So,
one yeah,
by the way,
sorry.
I think local boys are done for the season because this game was a must win for them.
Hmm.
So they
But
not start well this year.
you never know. I think still 6 games or 5 games are still to go.
Yeah,
So
but I think 7 games done, and they only won two, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, I think so. They have only
So
won one game, that is against us.
one thing to add here, KK, even though you think that local boys might not make it to the playoff, but they have a unit where they can disappoint a lot of people.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Those are running into the playoff, you know.
and one of
So,
them is on this call.
so
They've
yeah,
already beaten us. They've already
yes,
caused.
yes, that's true. That's true. So
Yep.
nobody, I think after this kind of performance, whoever is gonna play local boys, they will not take this team lightly.
Yep,
Yep.
They will come prepared when they are playing with this team. I think striker has to play.
absolutely.
Yep. I think to highlight here, I think I want to call out Mahfouz Ahmed's performance. I think with both the bat and the ball, I think his innings there in the Hitman scorecard. If you look at those, what is that? Sorry, jumps default. Okay, his innings of 42, and then picking up those 5 wickets or 4 wickets. I think was the game changer in this case. 5 wickets, yes, 5 wickets. So I think both with the bat and the ball. I mean, outstanding performance to lead from the front. But I think one of the big things which Hitman, I think to their credit, did was if you look at the fall of wickets here, from 9 to 97, the last wicket fell at 10 for 137. So they added 40 runs
With the last wicket.
for the last wicket, and that itself is a big achievement because those 40 runs made all the difference. And kudos to Srijit Kumar. I think he gave a really good platform or partnership or support with Syed. And Syed, I've seen him; he goes for a shot. So yeah, that support added that those 40 runs, which made the difference in the end.
True that.
Yep. So great game, lived up to his expectation. So good that we pointed out this game. Between two equally matched sides. Next game again. This was I would say is an upset. I don't know how others feel about it. But Dynamites losing against Sterling Strikers, and that too in this manner. 90 is obviously a good score, decent score. I think most captains would be okay coming into the second innings, but Sterling Strikers completely demolishing Dynamites, 95 for 1 in 15 overs. And Haider Bhatti, I mean, he had a field day. So I'll go with Satish. Satish, what do you think of this game?
So Parthi, before I will go, should I? I would not correct it. Should I append your statement where Dynamite did not lose against Striker, but they lost against Heather Bhatti? A, per-
Yep.
a person itself is scoring 80% of the run while
Yep.
chasing 95. I think it's a rare feat. It is not
Absolutely.
something like 40 runs where somebody can score 80% of the run of the inning. It is 95 runs on the board, and somebody about scoring about 80% of the run is a very rare feat. Okay, so to start with, I think Dynamite was very confident on this particular game. If I say, because I was talking to a couple of players here and there, so because of the last few games performance of the Sterling striker, where they were not able to manage 50 runs also on the board, right? So I think they were having a lot of confidence before going to this game. Dynamite White won the toss and elected to bat first. However, they did not have a good start. They lost first 2 wickets very quickly, but later on, Satish and Avinash gave the good start, and they added up 20 odd runs partnership. And later on, good to see Vijay Sanmugam batting up in the order. First of all, playing and batting up in the order, and then scoring 17 odd run. I have not seen him,
Yeah.
backing up himself for a very long period of time. But I think he has the game. He can stay there and score those runs. The Sterling striker bowling wasn't that easy also to score. So he must have done some great work there to score those 17 runs and giving good partnership with the Avinash. After that, if you see, right, the lower middle order again did not support the Dynamite, and with the help of those 14 extra, they were able to get 90 runs. 90 runs, again, it wasn't at par score, But I
Yep.
think Dynamite won't be disappointed with those 90 runs, considering, as I mentioned earlier, Striker did not had a good batting performance from the last couple of games. So Dynamite might be confident on that 90 run or on the board. And if you see from the striker bowling side, they were everywhere. They used almost 8 or 9 bowlers, and uh, a couple of people like Saad Farooq picked up 2 wickets and Sayed picked up 2 wickets. So that's it there. And when Sterling Striker started batting, as I mentioned, it was a one-man show where Hyderabad is scoring 80% of the run with the six sixes and fours, and just 51 balls, 72 runs with the 141 strike rate. I think he handled the complete Dynamite bowling alone. And again, I think there's nothing much to talk about the Dynamite bowling, where only picking up 1 wicket. That too, he was very expensive, like 2 overs. He could not finish 2 overs and got 22 runs. So that's pretty much one-man show from the Hyderabadi. And another thing, if you ask me, right, this was a very important game from the Pool C seeding as well,
Yep.
because the couple of all the 3-4 teams are fighting for 1 or 2 spot into Pool C. So this
Right.
particular game made Pool C playoff race little bit more interesting, if you ask me.
Correct.
Where if you go to the pool, we don't need to, but yeah, Dynamite winning against FCC, FCC winning against Sterling Striker winning against Dynamite. So they already made a triangle.
Correct.
I
I
think
think
last week we did discuss about it, like how it would happen if seeding will happen or the ranking will be decided if at all three will be in the same point. So it goes with the head to first we'll check obviously the point, then the number of wins, and then it goes head to head. If head to head matches
No,
or
no.
it became a
Oh,
triangle.
one question, right? FCC didn't win against Sterling Strikers. The game never happened.
Oh, is it? Oh, my bad.
That's still
But
still waiting.
if
Yeah.
it okay, okay.
Yep.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Because and that
I
being
think
said, right?
But I think last week we discussed that. So I just checked the rule. So I was just trying to last week I because I wasn't sure, so I did not want to add that. But
Mm-hmm.
this time I checked it. So if at all it something happened like this, so head to head counts, and if 3 teams come into the same point and head to head also matches, then it goes to the NRR. And if NRR
Mm-hmm.
also matches, then it goes to the number of wickets overall the tournament it has been taken by the specific team. And if at all it also matches, then it's a random draw. You have to take a draw and pick up a team. So
wow, that is.
that's the rule.
But another interesting thing is, I know we are talking about 5, but remember, 6 go from one pool. There is
That's
a
true
lucky
too.
loser, 16.
Yeah.
So that could also be one of the factors in Pool C also. I mean, if you see such a tight race between 4, 5, and 6, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well, which is this lucky 16 team and which pool it comes out from, because
Actually, 4, 5, 6, and 7, because Raptor is in 7 because they have played the last game,
they have
and
played less
also
games.
Raptor will find their way up.
Correct.
So
Yeah, so I
actually,
think the fight is between going to be FCC, Sterling Strikers, and Dynamites. I think the other 4 teams, I see them cruising through with the current form they have. But yeah, that's going to be a fight between FCC, Sterling Strikers, and Dynamites. And this win, as you correctly said, what Sterling Strikers definitely makes it really spicy in
yeah,
that.
and it will hurt Dynamite more at
Yep.
this point.
Absolutely. But yes, kudos to Hyderabad. I know there were terrific performances this week. The 145 will come to that from Tamim Oni. This 72 of Hyderabad, single-handedly. And I think, we all voted for this man to be the game changer of the week. And there was a reason behind it, because Sterling Strikers were down and out. And this victory is definitely going to pump them up and get them to a realistic playoff chance. So that, by the way, the opposition, the type of innings he played and chasing against a team, Dynamites, which is semi-finalist a couple of years ago. So that impact or the importance of that inning, basically it had trumped over Tamim, I guess, in everyone's view.
Parthiv, if we back up for a minute, right?
Yep.
Sterling Strikers actually won 9 out of 11 games last year.
Yep.
They
But that
came
time it was
into this
Sterling
year,
Strikers.
right. They came into this year as a top seeding, but they lost 4 main players.
Mhm.
But still, Alsan has been managing well, and except for that one game where they got a drubbing from Detroit Titans, I think they played decent for the rest of the 5 games. One game, the first game they lost to GLCC, but the rest 4 games they won with 5 points each.
Yeah, I think
But
after that
we had which.
they
Mhm.
had another game after us. I think it was against SLCC Guardian, if I'm not wrong, where they got all out in 40 odd runs.
They got all out for 47
But they
something, but
managed to
they
get
got
other
but
also
still
out
yes.
in 30 runs. That's true. They
34, yeah.
managed to get the 5 point,
Yeah.
but
Correct.
they might not be happy with their batting performance at that day as well. That's what
Yeah, of course, of course. But at the end of the day, they'll take the 5 points.
they take the 5.
At the current stage, I think they're really good. 1 4 out of 6. If they can replicate this for the rest half of the season, they'll make it through. That's where that FCC versus Sterling Strikers, the game
Singers.
occurring the
Singers.
last week of the league stage, right? That will be very important for Pool C.
Yeah, I think both the teams at that time will be fighting for that 5 points.
Yep, I think for FCC July is more important because they play the likes of United Raptors and Detroit Bulls, and they need to win both to keep in the race because they lost to Detroit Titans, they lost to Dynamites, so they have to make up for it in that particular month.
Yeah,
It's getting very interesting.
and I think they have got a couple of their players back, right? That you were
Amit is
mentioning.
back, yeah. Amit Gowda is back, and who's the other player?
I think yeah, Teja was missing for the 1 or 2 games, right? So I see him
Yes.
playing
Mm-hmm.
last game.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Next
Alright.
game, another game which was against equal strength teams, Dark Horses and the Marvels. Both teams are at the bottom of the table. They played each other at the bottom of the basement kind of game. And I think everyone, if I'm not wrong, picked Dark Horses. Or was
I
No,
it
I
picked
think
Marvels.
I picked the Marvels.
Marvels?
Even
Somebody
me.
else picked Marvels. I think one
So it
person.
was this is the game where our analysts were splitted. I think 3-2. Three
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
really?
people
Who
picked
else was
Dark
Marvels?
Horses, and me and KK picked up Marvels in this game.
Man, you guys must have known things that we probably didn't know. I didn't know anyone from Marvel, so there was no reason why I would have picked Marvels.
No,
Dark
but
Horse.
Satya has
I
been.
was following them, and I think they were able to manage scoring 60, 80, 90 runs. So
No, if I'm
there
not
I had
wrong,
confidence.
yeah, if I'm not wrong, Parthiv, last week Satya was mentioning that when he went to umpire the game, Marvel scored about 90 odd runs with the Detroit Bulls bowling lineup as well.
Hmm.
And more than that, I have my confidence in Dark Horses. Except Pankaj, there is no one else there. It's been 3 years since they won a game.
Yeah,
Because
that's
stats are like miniskirts. They reveal more than what they hide.
Yeah.
absolutely. I think, but even though, I mean, yes, Marvels won, but it was a close game. I would say 61 for 7. I think at one point of time, I think this game was played where I was umpiring last weekend. And at one point of time, yes, it was looking like Marvel should easily win, but they lost quite a bit of wickets. Like if you see this from 3 to 30 to 6 for 40, there was a time when it looked like the Dark Horses could be in a running to pull this through. The middle and the top order was collapsing. They were losing wickets at regular intervals. But, 60 was a little lower, another 10 runs, and, Dark Horses could have won this game.
Yep. Only thing I want to add, we can skip through this game. Marvel made this interesting by giving 21
Yeah.
extras on that 60 runs.
Oh,
Otherwise,
wow.
otherwise it would have been again an easy game for Marvels because Dark Horses only couple of players who can get through the game. Nabi, Pankaj, and Rahul. Other than that, I don't see they have a lot of support. But Marvel, I think the new people are stepping in and performing in 2 different games. So they have a unit, I would say. And Dark Horse is still lacking on that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I see Dark Horses where they were playing with all the spirit, but that only contributes to so much. You still need to put the runs, you need to get the wickets. So yes, you guys play in the right spirit, but I think it's time that you really need to up your performance. I mean, Pankaj Watt, I see him. He was started opening, then he went in the middle order. Now he's coming in the bottom of the order. So it's all happening, crazy stuff happening in Dark Horses right now. All right, let's go to the next game. The next game was a real cracker, SLCC Legends and Pokeries. And this was another game which we had talked about. This was going to be a close call. I think, although all of us pretty much went with Pokeries, I think we all knew in the back of our mind that SLCC Legends would give Pokeries run for their money, and they did. I mean, winning the toss, batting first, I think that was crucial. Those 97, 91 runs with the help of Guru Naga and several other contributions was going to be tough for Pokeries to combat. And I don't think SLCC had their full strength. I mean, when I say full strength, I mean Harish is missing. So he contributes almost, I would say, 20-30% of their strength. And with him not being there, I think definitely Legends missed him in this game. If he were there, things would have been slightly different. What do you guys take of it? I'll go with Wamsi first this time.
Yeah, I definitely think that Pokeries came in with the full strength, but whereas Legends were missing Srikanth Narne and Harish. Both of them, they're prime bowlers, right? And if you dissect the game, they were actually a bowler shorted in the end. Nitin Parsa was bowling the last over, and had it been if Srikanth was or Harish were available, one of them would have bowled that last over. But let's look at it from a different angle, right? Pokeries in the last game against Gujarat Lions were 86 for 3, and they ended up with 99 for 9. 13 runs, lost 6 wickets. And even in this game, they were 73 for 3, and they dropped down to 84 for 7. So losing those wickets, the middle order wickets in bunches, is happening again and again with Pokeries. Last year, the same thing happened in a game against Red Devils. Previously, what were they called? Safaris, right? From 52 for 0, they were 75 all out. And this year, you see the same things. The top order is clicking, the top 2, top 3, but what's happening is the rest of them are not performing. So, get the top order out, you might really see those big collapses from Pokeries. But having said that, this game was much closer than what we anticipated. At one stage, I think they needed 11 runs in 4 overs, but then it came down to 7 runs in last over. Yeah, because 22nd over went for 1, 23rd went for 3, 24th went for 2. So 6 runs in those 3 overs, left 7 to win in the last over. And then Gautam went with the shot, and then it cleared the long on. The wind also helped. That's what I heard. And based on some of the spectators, we were told that Guru Naga probably bowled the over of his life, the way he was bowling. Which means he's back in
Second
form.
last
That's
over?
very good news.
You're talking about the second last over of Guru?
24th over.
Yep. I think he picked up the 2 wickets, and that over made that whole game interesting.
Yeah, I heard that he was breathing fire in that particular over.
Oh.
Folks who watched it from outside, they told us, not the ones who are playing the game. I think even Avinash sent out a note saying that he has not seen such an over in a long, long time.
And
But
I think they did record, but recording got interrupted in between, right? Or something like that in this game.
so SLCC Legends started the recording. Their batting was recorded. I think the phone ran out of battery. They usually tend to record the full game, but we missed out watching that game.
Because in the last 2 hours, I was refreshing my phone screen every second to see what's happening on the next post.
Right, very interesting. Let's.
Very
Do you have anything to add?
Hmm?
Do you
No,
have
I
anything
think
to add?
only thing I want to, I think you covered almost everything. Only thing that the way Gotham had hit that 6, right? It was, I have not, he's always not that attacking. So I think he has played against the nature of the way he bat, and that is special. I think that 6 has, I would have wished to, watch that 6 from Gotham, and finish that in a style for Pokeries.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, I think we can move on to the next game. Spartans versus GLCC. I can take this, Gaba, if you're okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
okay.
Yep. I mean, Spartans won the toss. They batted first, and then they lost wickets in a flurry. They were 3 for 6 at one stage. At the break stage, they were 25 runs for 4. But Akhil played really well. He only scored 12 runs, but he's a very unorthodox batsman. He played really well, smashed that 6 very well. I think was that Shoaib? Yes, of Shoaib. He hit that 6. And then Hiran Patel at the end scored some much needed runs for Spartans. 21 runs. Gave them the score of 57. Not a huge score, but I really think GLCC made a mess out of it. And then I told you that we are going to talk about the golden ducks. There are three golden ducks in GLCC innings here. You see, one of them is sitting right in front of you, and we had Shoaib gone for a duck, Manish gone for a duck in the first ball. But from the bowling front as well, right? Abhishek bowled well. He took those two wickets at the in the first over, and then not the first over. I think in his first spell. But then that particular over, which was bowled by Vishnu Das Bharadwaj, he picked up back-to-back wickets. That's when there was a lot of pressure on GLCC batsmen. 4 for 12. Ajit goes in. There was a dolly. You can't expect much easier than that. I'd probably throw the ball much faster to my dog. It was so slow. It was dropped. Very, very easy dolly. Dropped. Then it gave the chance to rebuild. Ajit and Abi, the most senior players in the team, they stuck in there. They showed the patience. They built that innings. At the same time, I want to point out that the bowling changed. Right, the fourth bowler in the Spartans team, there was no need to bring yourself on because there are much better bowlers, and I think actually that over costed GLCC the game. If you go back and look at the over by over score, they were 14 for 4 at the end of 6 overs, and that particular over gave us 8 runs. It really is the pressure, right?
Right.
You're looking at 45 runs, suddenly you need only 35. But yes, it was a well fought game from Spartans, but I think GLCC with the experience at the end as well. You see, Tejas and Prabhu scored those runs. He got sandwiched in between for a duck. But having said that, there was a throw from the point area, an unnecessary throw. Tejas was already in. That hit him right in the socket. The game had to be interrupted and then iced. The player had to be iced, and he went back to back bat. They just didn't want to leave the field. It's not the first time. Last year we've seen that against Stars, getting hit on the head through a Giriappa bouncer, and then he played on, went on to score 50 runs. He showed the character in this game. These type of things actually shows how good a player is, right? And I want to just mention that.
Yep. So the only concern I have is, GLCC has been winning games, yes, but I haven't seen, apart from a couple of games against Marvels, and I think the first game against Sterling Strikers, which they won very comfortably. The score hasn't been convincing enough when they batted first. Obviously, they lost against Bulls, even against Dhairya, not that convincing. 75 for 6. Raptors, again, I wouldn't say that was too, convincing from a. I mean, when you're batting second, it's always, it is always the scorecard doesn't truly reflect. Only players who play would reflect that. But I would love to see some big scores, Wamsi, from GLCC.
No,
To
definitely right, because except for the Dark Horses game,
Yep,
the team has not hit the 100 mark yet.
yep,
It's going to happen soon, but having said that, 5 out of the 7 games were chasing, so
yep.
you don't really get a chance to go above 100 if the opposition doesn't score.
Yeah,
Right?
as I said, I think while chasing, it's hard to kind of see, because you win it either so comfortably or, while chasing, you tend to, take it easy. So you lose a couple of wickets and suddenly the scorecard looks different from actually the case. Maybe it might be comfortable,
Mhm.
but it might looks are deceiving sometimes.
Right. At the same time, I think GLCC will again come back with their standard batting order, probably in the last 3 to 4 games, so
Mhm.
that once people get into playoffs, they'll know what their respective roles are. That has not happened this year. There were a lot of trial and errors being done. But yeah, hopefully the month of July should set things straight.
Mhm. The next game we have is the Detroit Bulls versus Stingers. I think this Detroit Bulls definitely has, is an underdog. They've always been a good side, over the years, but this year I think there is something which makes me feel that they definitely are seeing themselves as an outside contender to go into playoffs and cause some sort of an upset. I see them playing. I saw them playing yesterday too. They have a team, pretty much the similar team which you see here with Kerala Blasters, a lot of like Gino James and Sandeep, and I think I'd seen a couple of other Gaurav. I think was there probably. So there were quite a few number of players, uh, and I definitely feel I think they do have a strength in their batting and bowling lineup, and they've been winning games quite a few very convincingly. And this was no different. Stingers have been much better this year, I would say. They've given quite a good scare to a lot of teams. I think they were unfortunate to lose the last game against Sterling Strikers, but this time I think they folded up very meekly. So Satish Bhai, do you want to add anything to this game?
Yeah. So as you were mentioning about Detroit Bulls, right? It is 5 consecutive win for them. So kudos to them. And I think the way they are playing, they may be a 2023 Hawks, like what Hawks did
Yep.
last year. They can actually they have the capability to do the same thing, going way all the up because they have a unit as you mentioned. They're playing as a team. They do not have as a star burden, but whatever they have, they are performing, right?
Right.
So I personally like this kind of team. They can give competition to anyone, any team on any given day.
Yep.
This particular game, it is straight, pretty much one-sided game where Detroit Bulls managed to score 85 runs when they started batting first. However, they did not had a good start where they lost few wickets at the beginning. But Gino, again, very experienced player, is performing with the bat and ball from Detroit Bulls, and then their captain Vassal scoring those 28 and 14 run and giving a good partnership. And with the help of 20 extras, they managed to get 80 runs, 85 runs. And I think when they started bowling, again, Stinger did not had anyone, to perform. Pratik Chawda making those 9 runs, that is the highest, and just 3 extras that, Detroit Bulls bowling is also very disciplined when they bowl 20 odd overs, 22 overs, and they just give 3 extras. So kudos, this kind of figures you will hard to see, where 22 overs and three extras was
Yep.
still picking up those 4 wickets and being a man of the match for this game. And Jagadeshwara also supporting with those 3 wickets. So very comfortable win for Detroit Bulls and 5 consecutive wins. Kudos to them.
Yep, they've definitely put themselves well in contention for the maybe top three spot in Pool C. So winning 5 consecutive games, I think, and they've beaten GLCC. So one of the big teams in the group. So they're definitely on the track to be on the top three, I feel. All right. Next game, I think I'm going to really breeze through it. Cover Drive versus Stars. I think this was a heavily weighted contest towards Stars. The only thing I would say, kudos to Cover Drive to winning the toss. Otherwise, there would have been quite a few records that would have been set. Some 50s would have been scored as well. But Stars kind of did, what we all expect them to do. Just rolled over Cover Drives. They gave 10 extras from the 48, but everyone pretty much bowled and got wickets for them. The Imtiaz and Shashank being the pick of the bowlers, picking 3 wickets each. And from Cover Drive side, they were never really had a chance. And when Hari Krishnan Murli is in that kind of form, with 4 sixes in the 9 balls he faced, there's not a lot you can do. He finished the game in a hurry with 322% strike rate. Stars basically just made sure that they got an early lunch that day. All right, let's go to SLCC and SLCC Guardians and FCC. So this game again, I would say disappointed. I think SLCC Guardians are much better than this. 39. For some reason, is it this year that this is the 39 is like the curse figure? I've seen a lot of teams getting out at 39. And SLCC Guardians again proving that score being a curse. That wasn't going to challenge FCC. FCC although lost 5 wickets, but cruise control. I would say FCC. I know Vamsi, you were close to FCC before. So what do you see? Do you see FCC's performance improving?
I mean, FCC can actually breathe because Amit is back.
Amit
Because
Gowda.
you see that, yeah, Amit got it. You see the bowling statistics, right? 4 overs, 4 runs, 2 maidens, 2 wickets.
Hmm.
When such a spell is not there, you leak runs in the middle, you not get the position for 39. Probably
Right.
they'll get to 60, right? If Guardians would have got to 60, maybe this game would have become very close
Right.
because FCC were 24 for 5. It's not the
Mhm.
first time you've seen that. The
Mhm.
first game when they are playing against Spartans, Teju saved them.
Mm.
right? And but in a game against good oppositions, right, like Detroit Titans, what happened was there was no room for error. They got bundled out. They lost the game by 15 runs. So these things will happen if you don't correct the batting mistakes. Because bowling, Amit got it covered. They promoted Amit up the order, but it's his first game in a long time. So would not blame him for not being consistent there. But yes, Nihal has been performing very well across the tournaments for FCC or the other teams at the field. Similarly, Vinay has been performing very well. These two, I believe, should bat up the order because the guys who are in form, who are batting well in those positions, should continue to bat there. Maybe they wanted to give chance to the rest of the team members, but yes, I think you need to get your opening or the top four batsmen straightened up because you don't have the luxury of losing games to teams such as Detroit Bulls or for that matter GLCC or Sterling Strikers or United Raptors. These are the four upcoming games. So you want your batsmen to be set at the top. If not,
Right.
what you're going to do is expose your middle order,
And
and
Chetan
there'll be
was
more
doing good,
pressure
right?
on these bats.
Chetan
Mhm.
was doing good at the top order. So
Right. I see no point, demoting him.
yeah,
Because last year they stuck to Pratik and Satish at the top of the order. It worked. This year they had Chetan at the top. It was working. So there's no point in changing it.
yeah.
When something works, don't change it. That is a very old saying that's there. Yeah, but
So,
again, this is a
And
mini scare for FCC. Almost the doors shutting off the playoff doors. They
mhm.
somehow came
and
out thanks to Nihal and Vinay.
another thing about the SLCC Guardian, I think their team actually, I would say, from the last year to this year, they are actually their team is weaker this year than the last year.
Yep.
Ravi Tej Pujari was there in the last year, and he was giving them, in couple of games where he was giving that kind of performance which you can highlight, and managing to win those games comfortably. But this year, I don't see any such game which has happened so far at least. And SLCC Guardian batting is looking very weak. They
Right.
still have good bowlers, I would say, but I think batting wise, I think Ravi Tej Pujari moved out, and I think they did not had anyone to replace. That is my observation. I think KK is again very close to SLCC
I
Guardian.
think SLCC
Not
Guardians.
really, because Ravitesh Pujari didn't perform for SSC Guardians last year. 9 games, he scored 71 runs. He was able to come back and play a game against Stingers. I remember that because the Stingers captain allowed Pujari to come back and play even though he was out of the ground because of some family emergency. But he did not perform really that great. 71 across 9 games. I think Guardians is stronger this year compared to last year, in my opinion. It's just that the players are not clicking. Because if you look at their lineup, they've gotten players such as Khalil Sayed, who was the best bowler last year, the best single bowling performance, I think 5 for 6 or 6 for 6. He is in there. They've gotten Philip Thomas, right? And
Yep.
then they've got a
I
lot
think
of other
I
players
think
to
they
use.
got Ujwal as well for the bowling. But
Right,
I'm talking about the batting. As a batting as a unit, they are failing. They are not failing at from the bowling unit side. They are
Mhm.
failing at the batting unit side in almost all the games. Their concern is
Right.
not a bowling. They have five good bowlers who can give a tough day for any batting
Mhm.
lineup. They are
Yep.
having hard time with the batting. I think I
Yeah.
would mention there.
In batting, they added some players, but they are not working. See, the first game they had Kiri in their lineup, the left-hander. He didn't play much games after that. Then the captain himself is not in form, scoring 24 out of 5 games, right? But Raj Sehgal is a great addition. Then Vikram is a great addition. Rahul Gollapudi only played 2 games. He's their mainstay. He travels from Lansing and plays. He has not played. Chandra Jadeja didn't play many games, and Raviteja Yarlagada has been an utter flop in batting this year. He's their MVP last year, the team MVP, and this year he scored 10 runs in 5 games. That's not working. So Pradeep has not been playing well. Pradeep Gorijabolu, he used to be very good for Blues in the past, then played for Legends last year.
But my question to you guys is SLCC Guardian even serious about getting to playoffs? I mean, I don't know whether they're.
So
I mean,
they're lacking their skipper now. Their
yeah,
captain
yeah. So
Sudha
my
is in India.
question, and I think we've asked Satish when he comes on the show many times, is SLCC Guardians like the nursery to kind of build players, identify players, and move it to legends. So if that's the case,
They-
you'll never see SLCC Guardians in like a real true playoff contention.
Not really, right? Because Satish mentioned it very clearly that the both the teams now operate separately. He
Yeah,
made
I mean,
it very
they
clear.
might have different leadership, as in the sense that you have Sudha Kiran managing SLCC, but overall, I think there is still, unless you basically separate out and you basically have players not moving from one team to the other, then you can say you are independent. But when you see teams moving, players moving from the same team into SLC Legends, then the one team is. I mean, because I say this because I think the goal is clear. If the goal is clear, then I think there shouldn't be any contention. If SLCC Guardians, the goal is to just play and have fun, then I'm sure they're having that.
Yep.
Hmm. The
So
next time someone from Legends or Guardians is here,
I
they
would
can
love
ask
to.
them for the
Yeah, I
line.
would love to ask somebody from the guard. I mean, Sudha Kiran or somebody like, does he know what the goal is? Like, has it been clear to him, or is it the goal like we are going to still compete as any other team? All right, let's go to the next game. And another question I had was, FCC with FCC Sterling Strikers and Dynamites with the July schedule that FCC has, tough games. Do you see FCC going to playoffs?
In the current form, no. But if one or two performances turn up from a player, maybe yes. But who is that player who is going to put their hand up? That's more important.
Hmm.
See, Teju cannot do it by himself. In
The,
DCL, he is more of a bowling all rounder. He bats, but he's more successful as a bowler. At the
hmm.
same time, who is that batsman who is going to take FCC over the line? That's more
Let's see.
important.
Let's see if the introduction of Amit Gowda back. Let's see if that puts
Mhm.
the impetus back, the push that they needed. So we'll
True. I
see.
think there were 7 or 8 batsmen who scored more than 100 runs last year for FCC across the season. This year, who's there? I don't even see one person right at the top.
Hmm.
That's the biggest drawback this year. But I wish someone puts their hand up and they make it happen.
All right. The next game we have is the MCC Miles versus Rising Stars. Rising Stars, I know, caused quite a bit of upset last week. I know Viju had picked Rising Stars, or the week before. I don't remember it was, but Rising Stars he picked, and Rising Stars won that game and was an outstanding result for them. But in this case, I think they batted. I mean, I would say pretty well to get to that 77 mark for MCC and restrict MCC to 93. MCC, we all know, is a heavy batting unit. They have quite a few big hitters. Although they were missing Sanjay, he's been a frequent on our show, and I know he's recently become a father, so he's going to be busy for at least a few weeks. So we might not see him in the lineup, but still, MCC Miles has a lot of firepower, and to restrict them to 93 was a good effort by Rising Stars. But on the other side, when they batted, I think they just missed the trick. I think somehow that partnership, I mean, that partnership at the end from Harsh did help them, but it wasn't enough. I think they lost quite a few wickets up front, and the damage was already done. So, anything you guys want to add on this game?
No, I think we can skip to the
Yeah,
next one.
it was pretty one-sided, I would say. All right, next game, Cheetahs Motor City.
Oh,
I'll,
can you hear me? Sorry, I think I was talking on mute. I was
yes,
mentioning that MCC men did not play with their regular unit. There is no Hemant Pingali, there is no Sunil Adonda, no Abhilash Reddy, no
yep.
Deepak Kuniyal, no Sanjay Elangovan, and then they didn't have Brahma, who is their main batsman through last year. So
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
that's
they
a
only played with 11, I believe, and Ram Saladi is one of them. They did not take this game much seriously, but still they were able to cross the line.
yeah. They play multiple leagues, and when you play multiple leagues, that's tend to happen. You tend to kind of not have availability of the players. I mean, they are
Mhm.
strong unit, but just an advice: don't take anyone lightly. You never know. Some points dropped here and there, even if it was 1 point. You never know; it can hurt you.
And Rising Star was doing good, right? I think in the last few games, it wasn't that easy game for them.
Right.
It may be just they do not have availability. I don't think they must have rotated player to accommodate, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
really
whatever
doubt if
whatever
he
the
had.
name that KK might have, KK just taken, I think it's purely availability issues, I guess.
Yep. Okay.
And they played on a Saturday, right? They initially, it was a Sunday game, but due to the schedule change, both the teams said, okay, we'll play on Saturday.
Yeah, but they had a choice. I mean, when they said yes, they must have, taken
Hmm.
all the availability into consideration and must have said yes, right?
True.
All right. Cheetahs and Motor City. This was another game again. Pretty equal strength teams, I would say. Not equal strength. Cheetahs has definitely a better history and better player capacity as compared to Motor City. Motor City is another team that has been losing a lot of the games. They haven't been able to really give a tough opposition, act as a tough opposition to teams. They've lost quite meekly. In this case, I think what do you guys think? Satish bhai, let's go with you.
Oh, KK, you wanna go for this game?
Sure. I can take this game. This game happened in Woodhaven on a Sunday morning because
Hmm.
Cheetah started really well, and most of the credit should go to Venkat and Rupendra. They gave that solid partnership. 12 overs, 50 for one. That's where the game was, and from there they scored 70 more runs. They were well supported by Lakshmi Ganapati, who has been batting well for them, and Nikhil Munai came up the order in this game, scored 15 runs. They played the entire 25 overs. Uh, the run out of the last ball of the first innings ended it at 119. And from the Motor City side, seven bowlers tried to roll their arm. And to be very honest, right, that the third, fourth, and fifth bowlers were doing good, and I didn't see a necessity for the fifth and sixth and the seventh bowlers. But the teams want to give chances to their players, especially when you're not winning games, and you still want your players to come to the ground, right? So that's where I see this happening. And when Motor City started, Cheetahs were just dominating. 4 for 7. Motor City were at 4 for 7 in the fourth over, and from there it was only downhill. There was one partnership for the eighth wicket for 23 runs, and one partnership for the last wicket. Sujay scored some 13 runs. Siva Muddana scored 10. Puneet scored 24. It's not much to talk about in this game, but yes, 5 points to Cheetahs, and congratulations to. They've been playing some decent cricket this year.
Yep. Well, the next game we would have basically run through a breeze through, and if it was not a record that was being set, it was so heavily one-sided that KRCC versus Royal Hunkers, we would have just skipped through it because it's so heavily one-sided game. But we cannot do that because there were some records and some really outstanding batting that we witnessed. Tamim Moni, 145 of 69 balls with 18 sixes. Again, I say 18 sixes. That's a lot. I don't think there are some people I'm sure must have hit in 18 sixes in their entire DCL careers. So hitting it in one game, no matter how the bowling is, no matter how the opposition is, just playing this kind of an inning is outstanding. And I know I heard a lot of WhatsApp messages talking about catches being dropped and chances, but still, I would say this kind of innings comes once in a blue moon, where you see 145, and he was going, the way he was going, he could have easily crossed 150 and 160 odd runs, and to be, because of this whirlwind performance, you had Yogesh Mittal also, just like what we say, Ganga mein haath dona. He basically also contributed, scored a quiet 50, 70% strike rate, so not quite from that point of view. But nobody really noticed that he scored his 50 as well. So kudos to him as well, getting a 50. But this game will be remembered for a Tamimoni show. You guys want to add anything on this innings? Great innings.
Yeah.
Well,
Two things basically. Someone scoring 108 run just with sixes is something I don't see. I have not seen in the DCL.
Yep.
Okay, first thing. Again, I would say Yogi Bhai's inning also you have to give the kudos.
Yep.
If if you remove Tamim Muni's inning for a time being, see you could not see Tamim Muni's scorecard. he has done brilliant, right? 50 runs, 71 ball. It's a fabulous inning in the DCL if you see.
Right.
And he was a not out, so he played all 25 overs. How exhausted he would have been, after that inning is, that is commendable. If you see
Right.
a lot of factors, age being one of the factor, it is one of the, I would say he would remember this inning from maybe another decade.
Absolutely.
So kudos
That's
to him. And I
absolutely.
think another thing about the Royal Hunkard, I think after Tamim Muni's show, they might have not even whisper for a day. Forget about the Hunkard.
That was a good one. Yes.
Good one. Good one, Satish bhai. Hey guys.
Well,
Yeah, Hardeep bhai, good to
How
see
are you,
you.
sir?
hey,
Very good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was at temple
well,
and I'm late.
No, that's okay. We are still in the game, so we will get to you. So hang on the show. Listen to our
Thank you.
comments. If you want to add comments, definitely add. But we were talking about the Tamim Moni show. What do you have to say, Hardeep?
No, I don't
you
have to say. I totally agree with you guys. Considering everybody is saying all the so-called hitters of DCL saying this ball is soft, it's really hard to, cross the boundary. Hitting whatever 116 runs in boundaries is absolutely amazing. It's like what you were saying. Regardless of the bowling, I mean, it takes good amount of talent and power to hit the ball clean. You can
and
hit.
well, let me add something.
You can only hit century when you get chances. I mean, he may have gotten chances. That's fine. I was not witnessed. I did not witness his innings, but still, 145 is kudos to him. Absolutely
Yep.
amazing.
Let me add something to that, right? Here there is someone who holds a record for the most number of sixes in DCL. That's Hardeep Singh. And when he's saying, yes, that's a great innings, that's a great innings.
Yep.
18
you.
sixes in that innings. Yes, the umpires were talking to me. I was one of the umpires on the other field. They were telling me that someone show these guys how to catch the ball.
Yeah, I think it
That
was one
being
of
said,
our player who did. I think Gotham did umpiring for this game.
right,
If I'm not wrong.
Gautam
Yeah.
was one of the umpires. He
One of
told
them.
me, Anna, ask these people to catch the ball properly
Wow.
because he already got 5 chances by the break time.
Yeah.
See, but also, I've seen when the morale is down, chances go. When somebody's hitting with so much, your shoulders drop, and simple chances also go begging.
Mhm.
That
That,
also impacts, right?
right. That being said, right, we are halfway through the league stage, and we only have 10 50 plus scores, and 2 of them came in this game. So we need to congratulate both Tamim Moni and also Yogesh Mittal. I believe this is his first 50, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't checked, but it should be. But the only thing is the way he was going, Tamim Moni. I was wishing Yogesh Mittal didn't waste so many balls. Even though by DCL standards, Yogesh Mittal's inning of 50 of 71 balls is outstanding. But the way Tamim was going, every second over, he was hitting like 2 or 3 sixes. I was hoping that Yogesh gives him a strike. He could have easily, if luck had gone his way, scored a double century. Who knows?
Yeah.
The way, I mean, when luck is on your way, might as well double it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next game. I know, this was a record-breaking innings, but very one-sided. Royal Hunkers on the other side, 34 all out, so it wasn't even a match for KRCC. All right, the next game we have is Canton Hurricanes and Thunderbolts. I know someone from our analyst had picked Thunderbolts, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think it was Satya.
Satya. Okay, I don't know. For some reason, I've seen him pick Thunderbolts twice, and he's lost both
No,
times.
it was me once.
Oh, it was you once. Okay, I don't know. The Thunderbolts, I can never put my money on them, and especially against Canton Hurricanes. I don't know why Satya would do that. Canton Hurricanes is definitely a very good team. Adarsh Nair, we've talked about him. There's Amit. They've got some really big hitters. I know they have lost players, but they have a decent batting and bowling unit. So I would, against Thunderbolts, they kind of showed the performance. Satish, you go first.
Yeah, I think again I would say it is one side affair where Canton Hurricanes winning very comfortably, scoring 106 and getting them all out in 65. Good to see Amit. Amit was performing here and there, but good to see him getting a big score, that too very quick, right? 144 strike rate. those 36 run in 25 ball with those 4 sixes. Again, as Hardi was mentioning, it's very tough to hit the sixes, and if still managing those 4 sixes again, the decent bowling again, and that Thunderbolts are the better bowling side. So I would say that was a very fantastic inning, and then very well supported by Sadat, who scored 18 runs with the help of 11 extras. They got those 186 runs. So when I see those 106 runs, I said that it is very tough for Thunderbolts to get those 106 runs, considering the kind of batting they were doing. From the bowling aspect, Deepak again getting 2 wickets, but I think from his standard he was like little expensive on that specific day. And again, Tayyab and Gautam also picking up those 2 wickets. When comes to the Thunderbolts batting, I don't see anybody performing. Last first 4 wickets were like with no times, and Riyaz only considering 10 run, and then Vinod coming at the later point of the time and scoring those 19 run. Other than that, I do not see any support from anyone. So 65 runs they got all out, and Amit is picking again. Amit bowled also in this game and picking up those 3 wickets and becoming a man of the match. I think it was his day on that specific day, and very well one-sided game, I would say. Canton Hurricanes comfortable winning, and again they are also alive into the playoff race. Canton Hurricanes is also one of the contender on their group, and they are trying hard. Let's see how it goes there.
Yep.
Definitely.
And Pardeep, if you get a chance, can you play that video?
Which video? That catch?
Yeah, the amazing Nayar's catch.
Okay.
And in the meanwhile, I want to add something. I met Amit after the game. He was showing off his medal.
What medal?
Looks like the Canton Hurricanes management decided to award a man of the match medal to their players for every single performance.
That's a very good initiative, because I have seen Dynamite also doing in one of the season. I think when they were playing the 10th season.
Mhm.
I think that will definitely give some boost, or I would say confidence to the players, to perform better
Yeah.
for each and every game.
Can
Very
you
good.
Looks like Hari Pallava was in India, right? When he was coming back, he got all the medals and also a shield for the season performance.
Oh, that's great.
Hey guys, can you guys see my screen?
We can
We
see,
can
but it's still a scorecard. Parthiv.
Oh, wait. Then let me. Maybe I've shared. Stop sharing. Do, do, do. So yeah, I think I was looking at that uh, that catch. I mean, I wish we had better technology, but I can't share my screen. Sorry, guys.
Is
In
it the
between,
one-
you are getting. Did you guys see Hardeep's catch? Hardeep Bhai's catch in the Champions Trophy? And actually, it has been recorded really well.
Yeah.
Bring it up. Bring it up.
I can share with you if you wanna.
Yeah, send it.
Yeah. I think.
All
That
right.
was
in the
actually
meantime, I mean,
they recorded it really good. Where the slow motion also they captured it. It was a very fantastic catch, Hardeep Bhai.
Thank you so much.
yeah, I was going while you're bringing that up. I was going to talk about the Pool A. It's definitely you talked about Canton Hurricanes, but it has the same situation we see in Pool C. You see that the third, fourth, fifth, sixth spot, all and seventh even fighters are still in contention, and Hawks or Thunderbolts can cause these upsets in between. So Pool A is also towards the bottom two positions is going to be a fight. All right, let's go to the next game. Fighters versus Phantoms. Well, I would say I was very, very surprised, but the Phantoms gave Fighters a real big scare. With 153, when Fighters made 153, I was like, that the game is done. Phantoms are probably going to fold out for 60 or 70 runs, and the game is going to be done. But when I checked the score, somewhere in between, they were going really well, and for once, I thought maybe there was a chance. I know, Vamsi, you had talked about Krishna's, and I think weren't you umpiring this game?
Yeah, I was umpiring this game.
Yeah, so you had bird's eye view. Talk to us about this, especially this innings from Krishna, which you
Yeah,
highly.
we'll go to Krishna's innings, but let me give enough credit to Anil Balreddy. He was playing really, really well for Fighters. He opened the innings until he got bowled out, right? And then Sainath came in. He took his time, he stabilized his innings. Naveen played in. He didn't want to go for the big hits. He played in. They got a score of 153. But when Phantom started, what I was thinking is that these guys will try to go hard from the initial overs so that they want to get quick runs, and in the process maybe they'll lose wickets. But Krishna was playing with utmost control. I sent this message in the primetime community WhatsApp group as well, that probably this is one of those top 10 innings of utmost control. He played in really well. He had cramps in between, but then he was drinking some water. He was back on his feet. He got run out at the end. Fighters were not able to get him. But he got the game very close. In the last 6 overs, fighters were trying to stop 60 runs.
Wow.
I'm sure if Krishna continues to play in Michigan, he'll be one of those batsmen to watch out for.
Is he a new guy? I don't know if I've ever heard about him. Is he a new guy?
Not really sure, Parthu, on that.
Let me see. I haven't seen him. He's played only 5 games, so he's. I mean,
Yeah,
he was-
3 games this season, 2 games last year.
Okay, so a hidden gem. I mean, he hasn't played much. So Ford League and Farmington League, he hasn't played much. So we'll keep an eye on them.
Yeah, Fighter is a very good bowling unit as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Mahesh, the 2 Mahesh, Anil, Venkat.
Yep.
Very good 5 bowlers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think fighters, we need them to be in the playoff. Sure.
Yep. I want to say something here. When Mahesh Burulu was about to bowl the 24th over, one of his teammates said, if you do not have the confidence, we'll give it to someone else.
What?
Yep.
Somebody telling the captain that you don't have confidence, we'll give it to someone else?
Yes. And I was umpiring. So,
That is strange.
That must be fun. Another way, Phantom did not score in total that 121 in their last 3 games. So
Yeah.
from nowhere they scored those 121, and I think, as KK was mentioning, that Krishna's inning may have held them.
All right, let's go to the last game of the week, and this is an upset, definitely in my books. Red Devils getting beaten by MI Rangers. MI Rangers, I think this is their first win, right?
Yep.
First win of the season, and what a
Their
win
first win. Yep.
against.
I mean-
They
Canton.
won against the table topper. I think the day they played, Red Devils was a table topper that time.
Correct.
yeah, but I think the MI Rangers management is not really good at actually getting things in order for the game, because I know at least 3 committee members were getting calls on the day of the game saying that I want to add players.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think their captain, in their own players' words, is very lazy to get these things done right on time. That being said, they lost. They batted first. They lost. They claimed the toss because yesterday I was at practice and Swarna Rahul was saying it that MI Rangers, claimed the toss. At least MI Rangers were in the ground. Swarna Rahul ditched his team. Yes, Radang is back for MI Rangers. He top scored with 30 runs. Madhu Kiran scored 27, and Siva Kadapa is a new player. His latest addition. He scored 24 runs. Overall, they put 109 runs. But what transcribed after that was how Red Devils folded. They had good players in this game. Chanakya Lokam, Satish Chodipalli, Vaibhav Khanna, Gagan Singh. There were very good names in there. But I think MI Rangers' spirit actually broke the Red Devils batting unit.
Yeah, at one point of time, I think Red Devils were 5 for 90 or something, and then suddenly
Yeah.
90 all out.
Yep.
I think that same guy that you were talking about, Shiva, I think he's the one highest wicket taker as well in this game.
Yes, because
We
in
followed
my
this.
terms, Siva is the game changer of the week. But it was completely overshadowed by Tamimuni's 145. If not, Siva is my pick for his first DCL game and having such a debut.
Yeah, there were quite a few performances, as I said. Haider Bhatti 72, Tamim Moni's 145. I think there was Mahfouz Ahmed
5-4.
5 and 40, and then this performance also. So there were quite a few performances. So this week was tough to pick the game changer of the week, but I think we all went. I mean, at least not all, but
Majority
unanimously we went with Haider Bhatti for
Yep,
his.
Hyderabad.
But yeah, there were some really outstanding performances. But I think this is another game which Red Devils will rue down the line. These points which are dropped. I mean, again, they lost. They got a bonus. They didn't give all the 5 points. They still get the bonus. But still, I think this is a game which Red Devils would have anticipated to win against the Rangers. So, Rangers getting their first win. Hopefully, that kicks their season into some sort of momentum. I don't think they are in contention for the playoffs, but such upsets, changes the equation of the entire group.
So, KK, as you have a lot of inside information, Swarna Rahul not playing this game was just a rotation, or he wasn't available? They took
No,
Ranger lightly.
he fields a team in the Michigan Cup, so he selected his team, went ahead and played that 4 o'clock game.
And this game was
So,
a 2.
in other words, DCL is not his priority, right? Can we say that?
If that is the case, I think that he might have thought that with this particular team, MI Ranger, they will be able to manage, and I think he took MI Ranger lightly.
Maybe not, but it's the
What happened to
responsibility
their
of Red
Michigan Cup
Devils.
game? Michigan Cup game also they have similar unit, right?
Yeah, pretty much same.
So they splitted the unit, and did they win that game or no?
No, they lost that game.
So they lost both the games.
Yes, it was not a Sunday to remember.
Yeah, so the split did not help them, right? And other of the.
I mean, the team in FCC Cup is different. It has the likes of Kaushik, Pradeep Kondreddy, the Namar. It's a different unit altogether. But again, it's the responsibility of Red Devils captain, right? Venkat, to take care of all these things.
So I have a question here, because again, you have more information on this team. So I see most of the game Venkat doesn't play. So who leads on the ground? I see always Swarna does that.
Yep.
So is practically Swarna is partially your on ground leading the team. Is it safe to say that?
Oh yes, we have seen that in a lot of teams, right? We have seen that in Troy Hawks
So
when
it is
Kaushik
not
was
that
leading the
even though
team.
he is not on the paper. No, I'm just trying to get into where even though he is not on the paper as a captain for the DCL, but he is leading this team, right?
Yep.
True, on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, I think as we know, there are several teams which operate this way, on paper versus on the field, because
there's no issue with that. But what I was saying, that Swarna has that responsibility to get this game, and I think they again I'm repeating myself, that they might have thought that this particular unit will manage to win the MI Ranger, which did not happen.
In other words, you say they've taken MI Rangers very lightly.
Very lightly, I would not say, but because they still had a good unit. It's not that they other than Swarna, I would say everybody.
Is that their first loss for Red Devils?
Yeah.
The second.
No. But
they lost to
MI Rangers first win, Hardeep bhai.
MI Rangers first win against a top team, because I consider Red Devils as a very good contender who can upset in playoff.
Yeah,
they have a top unit. I know they don't have their player, and Rahul Swarna would be the key factor. And any game when he's playing, he will be the X factor for Red Devils, and even in MI Cup wherever he's playing, and whatever DCL 90. I think
the only game I think Red Devils have lost against KRCC, obviously against the champions, but that also went close. I mean,
but I think Rahul played in that game. Rahul was the highest scorer, and Vaibhav stayed, but they weren't able to contain single doubles. They were just dead drop singles. Too many dot balls in that game.
That's true.
Having said that, right, in this game, Sai Karol didn't play, Sai Gautam Rangu didn't play, then Swarna Rahul didn't play. So few of your main players are not in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So with that said, let's go to our predictions. Obviously, our game changer of the week we've called out Hyderabadi, and if anyone from the Sterling Strikers team is listening, or if Haider is listening to us, please make sure you reach out to Satya to claim your gift certificate of $25 from Akshaya Patra, our sponsor in Farmington Hills. So let's go through the predictions. I know we generally do it in a slightly different manner, but since Satya is not here,
Satya is here, Parthiv.
he's here?
Satya has joined, and I think he started sharing as well. So your
Oh,
share has
okay.
been
Hi
overtaken by
guys.
Satya.
Oh, I just noticed that. Okay, perfect, Satya. All right, yeah, we just talked about Hyderabad, our
Yeah.
game changer of the week. Let's go to our predictions.
This is second week. Sterling Strikers getting game changer of the week.
Ah,
Last week Ranveer Singh and this week Hyderabad.
Yeah, that's true.
well, that's good.
Yeah. So
All right, predictions. Just to let everyone know, I'm still leading.
No. These numbers are off.
okay, I'll fix it.
Satya,
I
you
think
should
I
have.
didn't change.
Yeah, but Gabaji, I'm still leading.
But still you're
You're still
leading.
leading, but I have covered up good.
Yes, you've caught up. You've caught up 1 point, but I'm still leading.
I think we are 93,
Okay.
KK 94, you are 97.
Not
Satya is
really.
91.
Pardev is only leading by 2 points, right?
Yeah. I'm still maintaining that 2 point gap with Vamsi. I think you've
Yeah,
got
94, 95, 97, I'm 91, and last Viju
Yeah,
93.
I think between you and me, 3 point. Between me and KK, 1 point. And Vijubai is 1 point behind, and Satya is
3
way
point
behind.
बहुत बड़ा gap होता है.
अरे अभी ये वीक में देखो बहुत सारा हमारा डिफरेंस है. We'll catch up.
We'll go there last. So Dynamite, Spartan.
Dynamite Spartans. Okay. I think
This is the first game.
First was Glad Stars, that's SGOW. We can go through, that's fine. So yeah, obviously I'll go there. And
We'll get to this game at the end, Satya, because we'll have the guests from both
Yeah.
teams.
where is Hari?
I think Hari he's having some work. He didn't join, but I did not hear anything from him. I think it's only Hardeep right now.
That's okay. One of us will act Hari.
You have to act.
Okay, I will act.
We have two people from the Glad side. We can make one from the Stars.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
So
Because
Alright,
you guys know all the history and you remember what happened last year, so it's better. I can talk about this year, you guys can talk about and grill me for last year.
So everybody goes to Dynamites on this game.
5-0 Dynamites. Hardeep 5. What do you say?
Yeah, Dynamites, right? I don't see Spartans winning.
Miles Red Devils.
Oh, Red Devil.
I think I've gone for Miles.
Yeah,
No.
you are the only one went for Miles. So.
Yeah. I'm the only one meant for Miles. Yes.
Yeah, and this game only will cover one more mile.
We'll see.
GLCC Guardians, it's all GLCC.
Yeah, this is going to be a
This
one-sided
week
game.
it's except 1 or 2, it's not that tough. Game.
I think this week we have less games also. I think we just have 9 games, right?
It's just
Yeah,
9
only
games.
9 games.
Yep.
So it's all are in MH
Why-
Rangers. I don't know, but
Why only 9 games?
Because of the ground availability issue, right?
Not really. No, I'll answer that, right? See, we have 234 league games, and every week we have 15 games for 15 weeks. That's 225. 15 is 225, and 1 week we'll have 9 games. So initial planning was to have 9 games during the last week, but this week of 624 is the week where there are no grounds available across all the different cities that we work with. So that's why we had to swap that last week and this week around for scheduling purposes.
okay. So this is the last
FCC.
game. Everybody goes to FCC versus Marvels. And KRCC Rising Stars, it's obvious. KRCC.
Yeah, all these are
Both they win back first. So Rising Star is good.
Rising Stars is not Royal Hunkers. They are not
they are good bowling unit. At least
I think this game would be gonna be a good game, Parthiv.
Pokeries
versus
Hitman?
Hitman. The way Hitman, even though I think we are going all Pokeries, I think we can take a vote from Hardeep Bhai as well. But the way Hitman has performed in the last game, right, it's gonna give a good competition to Pokeries.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a one-sided game, but to be honest, I mean,
this
still
is
Pokeries
old
have
ones,
enough to take it.
so that's fine.
Well,
So-
I would also go with Pokeries if you're asking me. I think Pokeries have added a couple of good players in their roster this year. One player that you may not know is our Leatherball player, Shankar. Absolutely amazing batsman, absolutely amazing fielder. He will add a lot of value in the lower depth if he plays for Pokeries for this season. And I think what's the other person named Prasanna Manikal? I don't know. No, Manikal.
He was one of our game changers
Yeah,
also.
yeah. He's also adding a lot of value. He's sticking like like Rahul Dravid for India. He's staying there, beating every bowler, making singles, double. He doesn't matter whether he hits boundary or not. He doesn't care. Strike rate of
But
80, 90. Sometimes because of him, Pokeries will always have some score, always 90 plus, 100 plus.
and he can play a big shot too. I have seen him
Yeah.
playing. When he's set up,
Yeah.
he can play a big shots.
Yeah. Previously, Pokeries was solely belongs to Vicky and Saran Raj and sometime
Yeah.
Raghu maybe. And now these guys got some backup, and they can at least come wherever they want to and then make their 20-25 runs. They will always be 100 plus.
Awesome.
I like
Before you
their
jump,
batting against Starg, for example. That's where I'm talking from. I was watching their game from outside.
Mm.
okay,
So
I have a question for you three guys. Okay, last year we had a mess up with the schedules. I agree. Okay, but when you see Red Devils game, Red Devils lost on Sunday afternoon. That's the only game happened. So if Gujarat Lions and SSK played Sunday afternoon, and if Gujarat Lions lose, so does striker has a higher value, right? Because next is their game. If striker can win that, then Gujarat Lions is out of the competition. They have to win all the other games after that. So does this affect strikers?
Oh, everything affects us. That's for sure. But definitely, I think losing. I mean, yes, we won against Glad. That was a huge bonus. But losing against local boys, we gave up that bonus. So we are back. I mean, we have to win against Gujarat. We have, I think, 3 big games coming up: Lions, Pokeries, and Stars. In between there is cover drive, but out of these 3 games, we have to win at least 2 to give us a chance to go into the playoffs.
So
So,
yeah, it's not only that game. The remaining games also, like, because of the schedule change, it became a mess for other teams who
right.
are in competition. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean,
think even though what I understand from Malik, even though this game would have happened in the Sunday, right? They would have had the team. They would have, you know, uh, me.
That's okay. See, it's supposed to happen Saturday evening, but I don't know. Somehow it's pushed to Saturday morning. It's all like all over. I don't want to go all there. Like
yeah.
it's
We've
fine.
I have spent entire 2 days answering everyone, so I don't
That's
know.
okay. So, but yes, some teams are affected because of that issues. Like because they played wherever they want, whenever they had teams, they
Yeah.
manipulated stuff. Like that's how it went. So yeah, you can jump into SGOW and ask.
All right, let's go with our showcase game of the week. Is Stars Gladiators? I think it was what, quarterfinals last year. You guys met,
Mhm.
Yes.
and Stars came on top. You guys lost. It was a pretty close game, and I think I was umpiring the game, so I know pretty much what happened. But this year, I think it's going to be different because I think you guys are meeting in a league game, which has probably that, I won't say the same intensity, but Hardeep, you played Stars many times. You played with them, against them many times. Can you single out 2 or 3 players that you'll be planning against in Stars?
Oh, it's kind of pretty easy. If they play with their full unit, I would always rate, and I always rated Deepak Griappa as a top bowler in Michigan, regardless whichever format he plays.
Mhm.
And apart from Deepak, I think Imti, Satya Chanta, and Ravi Teja Reddy are the key 4 people. And I believe Anvesh is the name of their opener
Yeah,
bowlers. Yep.
Anvesh.
So their 5 bowlers are one of the top 5 bowlers of DCL. Their unit is one of the top unit. So I
Mm.
rate them. If you want me to rate them in number 5, I can do that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I believe that's where strength is as well. I mean, they have more. They are more focused on their bowling, and then batting wise. Now they have also added one more Chargers player, Shashank. He used to play with us. He
Yep.
also added more
I think
strength to their bowling.
they've added Sai Tota also. I don't know if he's playing
Yeah.
regularly, but I think he's also in their squad.
Yeah.
which is a good addition.
They have only 11 to add, but 12 to add, right?
Yeah.
Somehow they've been able to add a lot of like players in the last few days. They've been able to, like, I see Hari bringing on waivers, and I'm like, dude, you can only add 25 players. So he's got a lot of like these new additions which he somehow got. And the other question is, obviously Hari isn't here, so we'll go with you, Hardeep, first. On your side, you guys lost the first game, but after that, it's been quite comfortable. uh, this game is going to be a real test. Are you guys going to have your best team on the field?
I don't know about best team, Satya. Who are playing 12 available this year? I don't think, Glad never had an opportunity to put a best team because most of our 60% of our unit plays F40. And we always request DCL to, work with Mishka and then do something so that we both can have a comfortable league. So I think for next year, we should talk about it to give opportunities little bit at least so that we can grow cricket more. I don't think we will have our best unit for Stars game because I know for fact there are few players who already said not available because of personal commitment.
This is a long weekend again. They started the long weekend early.
But I don't think that will discourage us. Glad players, I can vouch for each one of them. They are more passionate about the team. They're more passionate about the game. The tougher the game is, the better prepared we come mentally and physically. So we will put in a good show. We just need to understand what to do for their top unit, how to play them. And I do believe that in this game, considering this game is happening in Northville, toss will have a major effect on this.
Why do you think so?
Whoever can bat first have 60% of chance of winning.
So are you of the same line of thought? I know there are different people who have different line of thought. Win the toss and bat first, get the runs on board. Or are you like the other breed of players who are like, I know
See,
the target.
if it's up to me, looking at the bowling lineup of Stars, I know it's very easy for them to defend any total. And chasing is always difficult, especially in the grounds where you have so much sand. No matter what you do with the whatever, sand will always come back. And if you push too much, then there is bumpy gravel or a hard surface comes out and ball stays low all the time. With their pace and ball staying low, runs are gonna be very hard to make. And chase on top of that, chasing, even if it's like 80, 90 runs or 100 run chasing, it's gonna be very difficult. So I always prefer against a top unit to bat first, put in a total, and then put them under pressure. As soon as you get their 2-3, especially Ravi Teja, as soon as you take you broke their backbone, then they have to do something different to chase 100 runs or 90 runs.
So I have a follow-up question on this. Right? I have one follow-up question on this real quick. Hardeep bhai, when was the last time you played a game in Northville?
Yesterday.
Is it too much of sand even this year?
Yeah.
Because last year we played a pre-quarters game in Northville.
It depends which ground you come in. So we played in ground 5, which is if you come from the parking lot, it's on the left side.
Yeah.
And the ground on the right side, extreme right across the football field, that's always sand. It's the ground number 7, which is pretty okay, but sand is always there. And the way they drag with the machine, it has big long lines. So if you remove the sand, then your ground is like a zigzag shape pitch, and that's will be too tough for batsmen to play.
Yeah, the last time we played was last year pre-quarters.
Yeah,
I think it was in one of those good grounds where we scored 130, the opposition scored 125. It was high scoring. That's why I asked, just out of curiosity.
I think
go ahead, Tardu.
Sorry.
No, I was going to ask Hari one question, but I'm going to ask it to the forum since Hari is not here. So obviously, just like Hardeep said, and even I think we noticed it in our game against Stars. You get Ravi Teja out, you have a very good chance of beating Stars. Do you guys feel that's the case to beat Stars, get him out?
Yes, it definitely gives that opening to the rest of the batting unit,
Yeah.
like what we have seen last year quarterfinals, right? Jishan and Ravi were playing really good. I think they were at 70 for one or something. But then that one wicket got them all out to 96.
Yeah.
So if you were Hari, how would you shield that? Would you send Hari? Would you save Ravi towards the middle order? Would you send him up? He generally comes, I think, one down or two down. I
One
think.
down.
Yeah, one down. So would you keep him below, or would you basically get your best batsman out there?
If my best batsman cannot face the opposition bowlers, there is no one else who can. So, like, give him his most comfortable position.
So you would still make him go one down.
Yep.
Yeah, I think their Zishan batsman is also a dangerous batsman. He always scores in the crucial matches. Zishan, Ravi Teja, Hari,
Yep.
and I'm not familiar with Arun whether he's playing or not, but Arun Lavakumar is also a very good batsman that they have. Then Shanugam Manikam.
Yeah, Shanmugam. Shan.
Yeah.
Shanugam, he is the most experienced, I would say now. I know
Yep.
he can hold ends. So it's all about strategy. Let's see how they play. I'm telling you, it's all about the toss. If you whoever win the toss, probably they will bat first. They will put in some total and then try to defend it.
Is it part of the mind games?
Mind game always. As soon as you get wickets, then the mind games happen. If you start scoring runs from the opening partnership, then you gotta understand how to get the wickets done. All mind games come after you get the wicket. Things start falling in place when you know that you got their top order in cheaply in 5, 10, 6
Right.
runs.
So, in that particular game, right, last year, Hardeep bhai, when Star scored 96 and Glads were bundled for 63, you were the second highest scorer among those 24 players who played that game. I think you were the last person out,
Yeah.
and maybe the skipper might have felt more pain, but you being there at the end would have given you more pain,
Oh
right?
yeah. It was
But-
nobody
Mhm.
stood. I remember nobody kind of stood with me. I think at that time I remember me and Adi was playing really nicely. We had a very good partnership as well, and I believe Ravi Teja was the one who took his brilliant catch diving forward, and that's where the pressure has started happening. It's all depend. We have to figure out. We have to pick their bowlers to whom with whom we can score more runs. And the point of mindset that you talked about, I think this year everyone has to play with different mindset. We cannot always go there and think, oh yeah, I can hit sixes. That's not DCL is known for. People who can generate partnerships are making more runs than individual scorer. You will see less and less and less individual scorer event going forward towards playoff. You will see more and more and more partnership teams making triple figures runs always.
Mhm.
That should be the strategy.
Now, an interesting question. You are playing against Stars who has Arun Lavakumar in their unit. You mentioned five bowlers who you mentioned as the top five bowlers. Now, Arun is the sixth bowler, and you hold a record for hitting Arun for 5 sixes in a single over.
Long time
It's
ago, yeah.
it's it's long time ago, but it still stands the record for 5 sixes in an over, right? So,
Yeah.
would Glad's unit, in case Arun is the fifth bowler, would be targeting Arun? Because you mentioned the other four are their top.
100%. I can give you masala as well. I mean, it's Arun is a top bowler in his let's say, I don't want to say class. Don't take it as a mean word, but because of all the other bowlers, they are so much pace. Arun is the only one who's coming as a slower medium pace, which is it's bound to happen. It's natural that every batsman will say, at least let me try to hit this bowler. It's not like it's easy to hit Arun. It's naturally come to a batsman that I know I'm not able to hit Deepak or Ravi or whatever, because they have all five balls, they have different variation. I guess last year for Glads or for us, that was the first time I think I faced Ravi, and second bowler is Satya Chanta, and absolutely amazing Yorkers. He don't focus on your wicket. He focus on your whatever left foot toe always. His Yorkers are right on those. It's very hard to even flick those. And then
Mhm.
Anvesh, I don't think I ever played Anvesh before, and I was thinking that Anvesh can be one bowler where we can leak runs, but he was much tougher to play than even Deepak on many occasions, especially on that day. So
Okay.
it's natural that people will try to capture Arun, and I don't think Arun will get bowling if they have 5 bowlers.
Okay. Because I want to ask this question to either Parthiv or Gavaway, because you and Satya are in Glad's unit. This year, Stars and Legends played a game in which top four bowlers, Deepak, Anvesh, Imti, and Ravi Teja, bowled 18 overs between them, got 4 wickets. And Legends tried to target Arun Lavakumar, 5 overs, 11 for 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
amazing.
in this case, Parthiv or Gavabai, who has the upper edge? The Glad's batsman or Stars bowler Arun?
Oh, that
And
way.
this game is being played in
You are
North
on
Village,
mute.
which means the
See,
offside is also
when
longer.
see in the DCL when you are very desperate to score run, right, you lose the wicket.
And
So,
in any
so
case, I think bowler
if
always
at
has
all,
the edge.
yeah, if at all some batsmen are just waiting for Arun to come, when Arun comes, he will get the wicket.
Yeah.
So you
That's
have
so
to
true.
score.
That is so true.
Yeah, you have to score. Even I understand the kind of bowling that Hardibhai is talking about stars. They have to keep
I
on
think,
looking for those loose balls and try to score on those loose balls. I understand
mhm.
they are perfect, but out of those 30 balls, they are bound to happen that 10-20% balls will be a loose ball, right? No bowler can
True.
bowl 30 Yorkers or 30 Goodland balls with the same pace.
That's true.
So as a batsman, if you'll focus on, and this is not gonna be suppose, because we are talking about the Glads, right? Suppose Glads win the toss, right? And
Mhm.
bats first. They don't need 120, 150 runs to score. Okay. If they're close to 100 runs, they have a game. If they manage to get first couple of wickets at the beginning, they have a game. Same goes with Stars. Because I
Mhm.
see in this particular game, if you ask me, Glads has a edge on the batting and a Star has an edge over bowling. I would
Mhm.
say again on the reverse side, Stars comparatively these two teams. Okay, I am considering Glads is coming with the proper unit because I don't know their playing or playing sides, right? So if Stars are a little bit weaker side on the batting if compared to the Glads, and same goes with the Glads bowling comparatively Stars is looking weaker. So I would say it's Glads batting versus Stars bowling competition. And it's not gonna be very high scoring game if whatever team if because the Glads is here, if they manage to score around 90 to 100, they can make out of the game from that score. Is my
True.
again my
Mhm. See,
perception or
against
assumption on this game.
Yeah, see, same thing happened, right? Stars lost to Gujarat Lions in their opening game. Gujarat Lions scored 75. Stars couldn't handle that particular pressure, but they did overcome that against, I believe, strikers when they came close, right? Parthiv,
Yep.
won with 1 wicket.
Mhm.
So what Hardip was mentioning, put runs on the board, put that pressure. That's one point where Stars is lacking. Having
Yep.
said that, one final question before I hand it over, Hardip bhai. Um, Which unit of lads do you consider to be stronger, last year or this year?
I don't think we have any changes. Do we have any new players, Satya?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
lost
know.
a big,
You are
big
not
player.
you are not missing your friend
Who?
Ronak Patel
Ronak?
in Glads unit.
Yes.
Yeah, Ronak. See, Ronak is a three-dimensional player. When Ronak lost, I don't think we can say that. But I think it always comes that someone else is pulling in that shoes. Most of the time, we always Arjun does not play all the DCL games, even last year, this year. So we kind of all the core members we talked about each other that what f
I,
him
I think
that we have to
Arjun
fill his
played
shoes.
all the games this year.
Yeah.
So,
So losing Ronak is a big blow. You cannot find Ronak kind of a player every day. To be honest, he's absolutely amazing in batting, bowling, fielding, team commitment. You never have to ask him, "Bhai, give me your availability." He's the first one to give. Glad never had to look for players when Ronak is in.
Yep.
So most committed player. But we have players that are filling in the shoes. That's how our mindset is always.
Mhm.
And this is one way to prepare a team that never rely on one player, because come playoff most of the people goes back to 40 and we left around with the same bunch who always played.
So one of the things I'm looking forward, obviously, come later on in the stage is when Mansab Butt and you bat together. Some two big hitters. We haven't seen Mansab too much. I think he's played couple of games. I don't think he's played more than that. So does that Mansab Butt addition fill that void which Rupp or Ronak has left?
They are two different players. I don't think they are even comparable. Mansab, with addition of Mansab, it give little bit more edge in our bowling, and it gives more flexibility in terms of captain's role. That we know that we have a power hitter at the bottom. With if he goes, he can give you 18-20 runs really quickly, which you need. So Ronak is always goes one down in the team. So his role was just to anchor the inning and give us the main role. What we were talking about, let's say Ravi Teja, if we give an example, that you make your 20-25 runs. If you make 25 runs at one down position, it's very easy to reach triple figure score. So that's the role. Mansab is always will be finisher. He will come around 6. He's like a freebie for us. He will come 6 down at 6 position, 7 position, and then we will always have full support for him, that you go and play your game regardless whether you give us 1 hit or 2 hit. That's all it takes. You need 10-12 runs at the end for few balls.
Okay. I had
But
one question and
the
then
point is he has to come and play.
yes, he's
fun.
an enigma. That's for sure. To get
Because
him
you guys
play.
have to see it. 60% of our team are playing F40, and all the players that plays in Glads, they are top order F40 players. They have memorable stats in their team, so they will not leave F40 as well. So it's going to be a challenge when playoff comes. That where are our players? We'll be missing a lot of players.
Okay. And
including Mansab. Yeah.
I had one last question. So, this are you guys thinking about your impact player? Come down the road. Obviously, you will need to select one player which will be your impact player. That has become.
You invited him to your Prime show.
Who's that? Is you? Okay, that answers my question. But I was basically trying to figure out, like IPL has introduced this impact player. Captains are now thinking of that one player who they can use either the 5 overs, he doesn't bat, or he's just a specialist batsman. Are you the impact player for Glads?
I don't know I didn't knew this definition of impact player. I was like, I was more going on, the player.
Yeah. Your impact on the game is undoubtedly, but I'm talking more about how in IPL people have been using impact player. Somebody who bowls or somebody who bats, depending on who you are batting first or bowling.
Do we even have 11 this week, Satya? We haven't have 11 yet. We have 11. Okay, let me. I really want to give
hypothetical. सोचो आपके पास सबको everyone, you have everyone.
हरदीप ज्यादा बोल रहा है, पिक गलत हो गया लग रहा है.
नहीं. I think my answer is still the same.
No, my pick for the SGO game I was talking.
You pick Stars?
No, I picked you. I picked
so
Glads.
You will get the result. I'll get to the point.
Predictions, I think it's 3-2 Glads. I think it's only me and who else is? I think KK. Who's picked? Me and KK have picked Stars.
Thank you for telling me. Now you give me another reason to beat them.
It's 3-2. Obviously,
I have actually 2 questions. Actually, I wanted to ask the question differently, but because you answered a little bit, player availability issue and all. From last 2 seasons, Glads, I would say it was a disappointing season. I don't know how you rate it, but it did not go well. 2021 and 2022, where I think one's pre-quarter final and another one is quarter final, right? And if I'm not wrong, again, I do not remember, but availability wasn't an issue, I think, in both the games. I think you had,
true.
I think the pre-quarter final against the striker, I think Arjun was missing, if I'm not wrong. But quarter final, I think you had the full unit. So basically, what is going wrong where, Glads was always on the top notch, going all the way to the tournament, winning multiple times and not able to perform. And also you gave an explanation that it may again happen that you are 60% teams F40 bound. And this year, if you see the schedule, right, so you'll have more uh, laps where the playoff will be parallel. Earlier used to happen that F40 playoffs are way ahead, and then we are closer to the finals or semi-final. We get started with our playoffs, right? So this year actually F40 and DCL playoff will be parallel. So how confident you are, and because you are representing, as you know, if Satya wants to pick this question also is okay, because obviously Glads like a team will be planning for the playoff, right? Not they are not planning for how to get into the playoff, right? How to play on the playoff. So how you guys gonna take a corrective measurement or plan on that aspect? I think Hardeep dropped. Satya, if you wanna take it,
Yeah, Satya, you can take it.
you are talking on mute though.
Sorry, guys.
No,
No,
Hardeep is back.
He's
Hardeep is
back.
back.
even my internet knows when to get out.
Perfect time to
I don't
drop.
know. Did Satya said anything, or I have to
No,
say?
He was
before
about
he
to.
started, we came. Okay.
I don't want to spill the beans, to be honest, because prime show, a lot of people watch it, and there is not a nicer way to say it. I think mostly I will say, don't ask me this question, man. That's a tough question. Because
Okay,
mostly I would say
let
that
me ask let me ask you
let's
other way around. You are
let's
leading
be
team.
honest and blunt. I think most of the time, the second point that you raise, yes, player, when it comes to playoffs, it always comes to how dedicated and how passionate your players are to win that game. I think that hunger was not there when we even played strikers. That's the reason why we lost that game. And this last pre-quarters, I think we lost against Star, and then that's when we got out. I do believe we played that game with full passion and compassion, but it was our top order was not able to handle the pressure of that bowlers, because that's the real scenarios with Glad from the last 2 years, that most of the players that got available all of a sudden in playoff, they have not played the actual DCL league game. They only played 3-4 games, and I don't know how many balls they faced. And when it comes to playoff, and you're playing a top unit in front of you, and then you don't know how to score, and when you need to score, you play the rash shot and you give your wicket, and then come back and sit in the dugout and do nothing, and that add pressure. Every wicket that fall within 10, 12, 15 overs, that add a lot of pressure. You're talking about other players have to first eat that pressure and then try to make runs. That's happening in 2020, and that happened in 2021 as well. So sometimes you need to make a balance, that if you are coming to play a game, regardless whether it's a league game or a playoff game, you bring your mind and body with you on that game. You don't have to worry about, oh shit, what happened, now what we do.
Yeah.
And second one, which I was hesitating to say, but I would say last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, there are some on-field or off-field decisions that our team took that did not get to their way. I mean, a lot of decision was taken that could have been different. I mean, that's the best I can say, because most of the time there's analysis happen. You study all the other players, what other team have done better or what we have done better, then we decide. But as in my personal opinion, those could have been little bit different than what it was, and I was very. I hope the result would have been different. At least we wouldn't have lost to striker, one, and then to stars, second. Our team was little, I don't want to use the word scared, but less prepared to face those bowlers. And this year also, striker pulled the game away from us with such a low score. I mean, people can cry about it, that weather was not there, we were not prepared. First game, it was their first game as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Kishore Bhai, did a good job in batting.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I think
my
go
one
ahead.
more question, last question to Hardeep Bhai. That is on your as a you as in player, not as an Glad's leader or representing here. Why we do not see you bowling on the DCL more often, or specifically not bowling at all? I would say, because I follow you almost all the leagues. You bowl, okay. Even though occasionally you bowl, not in DCL. Why? Is it your captain is not giving you a ball, or you are not bowling yourself? You are on mute, KK. If you want to add anything,
You are on
Masala,
mute,
you
you are
have
on
to unmute yourself.
That's Satish Gaba trying to recruit Hardeep out.
Hardeep bhai is always welcome.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
I can't answer that question.
No,
I mean,
my
He's
question
always
is
there.
that you who doesn't want to
He's
bowl, or
always
is that your
there as a
captain is not
bowler.
giving ball? I can flip
No.
that question to Satya if you answer that one.
Some
The
weapons
answer
you
to
have
the
to
first
use it
question is
when
no.
needed. You cannot use every time, right? Like, so some impact player bowlers we have to use it when needed, right? Like, so yeah.
I will
So
try to
because I have
bowl.
seen you, Hardeep bhai, a lot of games where you have been introduced as a six bowler. Six is the sense that six is just a number, I would not, because many times we also plan to introduce some good bowler as a six bowler. So let's not go with that.
Mhm.
But you have, when you came on that order, you have created an impact where you got those wickets, where the partnership was need to be broken, and all of a sudden a random, whatever team you are playing, captain called you and gave you the ball, and you got them a bit breakthrough. So it
Yeah.
is not one or two occasion that I'm talking about. I've seen several such occasion where you have done the job with the ball as well.
So I'll tell you, Satish bhai, I think most of the time, considering age is one of the factor, and you at least I'm talking only on my personal perspective, that sometimes I have a mindset that when you have a fighting mindset, then you will be able to ball because you understand the game, you are in the game. When it's just so lazy, then you don't want me to ball when I'm lazy. And most of the DCL games are in morning, and morning we are fucking lazy. We are not that, and all the games where you see me bowling, those are in evening. Then the body is relaxed. Morning, body is very stiff. So that's one
Yeah.
of the reason. That's personally me. That I was like, nahi mil rahi bowling to acha. It's fine. I don't want to ball. If he wants
Yeah,
me to,
these games were okay games, but if you open our results, you can see maximum was the 77 was the highest score. So the remaining all the teams were low scoring. So our main bowlers could able to take the wickets out. But yes, I would use Hardeep when really required. So is one of the key bowlers that I need, or 2 or 3 overs in middle suddenly. So
Can we see him bowling in this weekend game?
it depends on the day, right? Like, it depends how the batsman. I need couple of wickets. Yes, yes, might not be in the first 10. Might be after that.
Parthiv, can we make a banner in the DCL website? Ravi Teja versus Hardeep, not as a two batsman, but Ravi Teja versus Hardeep bowling.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think it's going to be one hell of a game. I mean, both strong, big hitters, big impact players. So it's definitely going to be one hell of a game. I'm hoping that
who's that guy from Royal Hunkar who got 50 runs, 4 overs, 53? You want maybe Teja to hit me sixes so that I'll break his record this game.
It was
I
well
hope
chatting
it's
with
not
you,
one-
Hardeep bhai. It is always good to chat with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know we are up on time, so I wouldn't keep you long, but it was great chatting. I wish we had Hari, but we represented Hari well. We asked you questions, and Hardeep, thank you for being so candid and frank.
No. Thank you so much. I watch your show not live, but always go on YouTube. You guys you are creating some spice, and it's very
If
interesting.
Viju is there, I know what he would have said.
Yeah, we are definitely
had
missing.
already, so he didn't come to the show.
He didn't come to the. But long
having
story
said that,
short,
right?
for your star show, whatever SGOV, what do you call that? Star
Showcase
showcase.
game of the
Game
week.
of the week.
Game of the-
Yeah.
We'll try to give you guys a good show, regardless
Yes,
of whatever how much runs we scored. But you always expect a tough game from Glads, whoever the opponent is.
See, very few folks actually speak their mind, and of all those shows that I've done last year and this year, I think only 3 folks spoke their mind out. You are one of them, Hardibhai. You spoke your heart out. You said what went wrong in 2021, 2022, what you are looking forward this year.
Yeah.
About the missing Ronak you in your team, how big of an impact that is, and how you are all trying to fill in those shoes. You spoke about if in the future Mishka and DCL can come to that agreement to have players play in all those games, right? A lot of good things that you spoke about today.
I would like to urge that to all the DCL committee. I know all of you guys are there. Let's try to do that, because eventually, if you look at, you guys have very good head on your shoulder. Mishka GB is there as well. All the other tournaments, we should create opportunities where all our players can play different
Yep.
format. And I know we try to be strict so that we have decorum for our league, but we should not be super strict on some issues and try to create opportunities if can, because DCL and Mishka are the two oldest league. People
Right.
want to play this. It's not like people, it's like a side league where people like, okay, jaise marzi play karo. No, there are much bigger rivalries in DCL than even in Mishka. Mishka only have 4 or 5 last rivalry. DCL people talk about rivalries. Why are your prime show is so popular? Because you guys talk about those rivalries. And in order to make DCL more, I would urge you guys to find some sponsor so that we can do cash prize for the winners. It's high time that Mishka as well and DCL both should have cash prize winners.
Yep.
Probably we can find a sponsor and see if somehow we can create opportunities and have more people, little more flexibility. I think it's just a matter of half an hour. That's it. So that
Yep.
the travel time you support, because Mishka 40 game starts at 11ish or whatever, 10:30ish, and then we have a rule that you can come 1 hour after or 14 overs. Little flexibility, it will go long way, and people will remember that these guys at least supported both format instead of being super strict among my way or highway rule. I would urge you guys to give any help you need from Mishka. I'm speaking as a Mishka GB now. Any help that you need from us, we are all hands.
That's
And
great. I think that's one of the things we've talked about internally as well, Hardeep, by like how do we make it? That's why one of the things that we've done is we've started the league early so that we
yeah,
can have
that's a great
players
initiative.
to go into the Michigan playoffs as much as possible.
Mhm.
We've always faced difficult times because Saturday is the only day which we have. Sunday again, you have clashes with other T20 leagues and multiple T-ball leagues going on, so the
True.
window is very small. But to be honest, I think starting summer, we do give flexibility to teams to start early, like 8 o'clock start, because the sun is out early, so you can start
Yeah,
early. There is going to be that window where you can still be able to catch the game in
yeah,
in Mishka, because if we start early, 8 o'clock, we can.
yeah. That
Yeah.
good,
So and
good
then
point.
sponsors, we've got. I think what this time this year the committee has got 3 or 4 sponsors. We are already looking for more. We have prize sponsors for performance of the week. We have prize sponsor for the MVP. We are gifting away $250 bat. We have photography a sponsor. So we are getting into a lot of sponsorship as well. So yes, that's
Good to
something.
know.
Yeah, we are
I think
working.
both of our leagues are doing great in terms of social media and finding sponsorship. We are also doing the same thing. So any suggestion you guys have for us, please come and
Absolutely.
tell us, and we will do the same. Okay.
Well, maybe if possible, at the end of the season, we should conduct a game between the Mishka 11 and DCL 11 to gather more interest.
Which
And
ball, but which ball?
Maybe we'll play
They
with the
play
DCL
11 ball,
ball
we
on
play
360
T-ball.
degree ground. How about this? How about this? We play with the DCL ball with 360 degree ground, Michigan ground.
If I look at KRCC, their lineup, I'm pretty sure they will be in finals, and then they will be in finals.
it's the top 11, top 12 of the tournament. It's not a
That's
particular team.
yeah. We can do that. We can do
All
that.
right. Great thoughts, guys. Yeah,
Thank you.
we are up on time, so I don't want to hold along. It's 10:30, so a lot of people must be ready to go to bed. But thank you again, Hardeep, for joining us. I'm sure
Thank you
we'll
so
see
much.
you again down the road. But best of luck for game against Stars. Hopefully, it's a cracker and we get to see really good close
Yeah.
game.
So
Yep,
Satish,
great
bhai,
talk,
we'll
guys.
make sure you get one more point. Then,
Thank you.
all right.
We'll see. I'll extend my lead, hopefully.
Okay, bye. See ya.
All right. See you guys.
Bye bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.